Buongiorno, buon popolo. Christmas was St. Francis's favourite time of year. He famously began the custom of reenacting the Nativity story, performed for the first time at Greccio in 1223. In those days, religion could feel remote. Worship was in Latin, a foreign language, and so Francis brought the story to people by enacting it in their midst, in their own language, with real animals and with themselves as the participants. The story is told that while reading the Gospel, as he said Bethlehem, it sounded like bleating sheep, and then, taking the doll being used for the baby Jesus, it came to life in his hands. Christmas reminds us that God came to life, took our flesh, and so introduced the mystery of the incarnation that led to the gospel of love, which is at the heart of the life of the Church. Speaking for myself as vicar, and from Yvette as curate, and with our colleague Katie from the hospital, we would like to wish you the blessing of peace this Christmas and the hope of joy in the year to come. 2021 has been a difficult year. We can hardly say that the pandemic has become normal, but we have lived with it for 18 months and it doesn't seem as if it will end anytime soon. In spite of this, we have sustained the life of our church and we've achieved so much. And I invite everyone to give thanks to God for the blessings that we have enjoyed in our church community, in spite of the measures that have been in place. Sarah and I learned this week that both our children have contracted COVID in the past few days and will not be able to join us for the second Christmas running. And I know that many of our families will have had to change plans, reorganise travel schedules and rearrange things at short notice. But in spite of this, I invite you to share with me in awe and wonder at the miracle of the Divine Spirit, which chose to inhabit our frailty, to demonstrate that through ordinary human lives like ours, the miracle of self-giving and sacrificial love is made real. And this reality produces hope for the world. We must sustain ourselves and each other with this good news, and like the angels, sing the joy of it. Like the shepherds, do not delay to share it. And like the wise men, do not shirk the journey to explore and understand it, even when it makes demands of us that we were not expecting. We are also invited to be like Mary and Joseph, who responded to the call of God with obedient hearts and in full expectation of the fulfillment of God's promises. That obedience continues to draw on our hearts and sustain us as a church community. Here we experience it in the life we share together. And during this year, we have worshipped in person and online. We've baptised, married and buried people. We've hosted the climate change pilgrimage. We've seen Yvette ordained to the priesthood and preside at the Eucharist for the first time. We've hosted school children at church, welcomed uniformed groups at our remembrance service. We've collected for the food bank at harvest, built and begun to plant our sanctuary garden, as well as new apple trees. We held a Christmas fair and a Christmas crib and cake-away. We've supported the hospital chaplains, walked and prayed the parish boundary. We had a parish weekend in Northumberland. We restored our statue of St. Francis, and we raised money for Franciscan Aid. We collected for Christian Aid, the Women's Refuge, the People's Kitchen and the Shirley Community Trust. We started a parish bee colony, and even during lockdown we celebrated Mothering Sunday with flowers and simnel cake for those who live alone. Meanwhile, our place of welcome, tea and toast, and baby and toddler group have sustained and revived their activities with loving service to our community. On the parish website and in the brochure sent to all our church families, you'll find some pictures to remind ourselves of some of these achievements and to encourage us as we look forward with hope to all that God will do in us in the year ahead. May you have a blessed Christmas and a happy new year.